will not be seen at this time so that we can bring you highlights of Endymion 95. It's highlights of Endymion 95. Now, let's hit the streets with the Channel 6 News crew.
And I'm Janet Wittert.
And welcome to the 29th edition of the Endymion Parade, the most spectacular mega parade in carnival season.
This should be a real treat for me, Norman, because every time I've ever been to the Endymion Parade, I've been 16 rows back. So it'll be a real treat to have this vantage point, to be able to see what's going on, and actually maybe get some decent throws for a change.
Yeah, well, you're going to have the best seat in the house, and so are you. So stick with us for our special coverage of the 29th edition of the Endymion Parade.
And first up, here's the Budweiser Clydesdales. Aren't these beautiful animals, Norman?
They're gorgeous.
These are wonderful, all the way from St. Louis, Missouri.
And here they are, the pride of New Orleans, the high-stepping Purple Knights from St. Augustine High School. One of the premier high school bands in the United States.
These guys are great, aren't they, Norman? And our first float, the captain of Endymion, representing the Greek god of youth and fertility, is bedecked in a costume and a sunburst of fluorescent colors depicting fins, scales, and other protrusions of scary creatures from the movie.
Pride of St. Mary's Academy, the Marching Cougars band and drill team. This is an all-girl band, and they are fantastic.
Wow, as good as the Marching 100, Norman?
Yeah.
Our Grand Marshal of Endymion, Chuck Norris. He is the CBS action series star of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Looks like he's having fun, Janet.
Looks like he's having a wonderful time.
Now let's say hello to the co-Grand Marshal of Endymion, actor Richard Karn. Co-star of ABC TV's hit comedy series, Home Improvement. Karn plays Al, the perfect second banana assistant to Old Thumb's TV handyman, Tim Allen.
All right, Norman, I want one of those cups from him. Let's see if I can get his attention.
You're killing us.
Hey, Dick! Ooh, do we have some good bands in this parade, Norman. This is McDonough's 35 Senior High School Marching Band and Drill Team, the Ron Eagles from New Orleans.
Pride of the 7th Ward. welcome special guest of Endymion, rock superstars Huey Lewis and the News. Huey Lewis started his music career in country music, but became a stalwart of rock music after forming the News in San Francisco in 1980. Hi, guys. All right, Janet, here comes your favorite group. Casey and the Sunshine Band playing your favorite number, Shake Your Booty. Shake it, guys.
Oh, come on. Where's the Sunshine Band? I wanted to see the Sunshine Band. And now the maid of Endymion, representing the Wizard of Oz, is Miss Tiffany Lynn Cordes. She's the daughter of Brian and Lynn Cooney of Metairie. Look at that costume, Norman. Can you imagine how much that must weigh?
Gorgeous colors, though.
Oh, absolutely beautiful, and so is she.
And another one of the beautiful maids of Endymion, representing monsters, part of their theme, is Miss Nicole Michelle Laish, daughter of Brian and Barbara Laish of Metairie. Her deep purple burgundy costume features a large collar depicting intertwined bare black-edged branches of gold over a background of gray that creates an eerie scene. Hi!
She looks like she's having a marvelous time.
She is.
This is the Jesuit High School Marine Junior ROTC Band and Drill Team from New Orleans. The unit was established in 1964 and was the first high school-based Marine ROTC unit in the entire nation, Norman.
Very sharp. And the costumes keep getting more spectacular, Janet. This is Float 8 featuring the maid of Endymion, representing the movie The Bird. She's Miss Jessica Lynn Laperouse, daughter of Bubba and Debbie Laperouse of Houma, Louisiana.
My goodness, she almost looks like a mermaid. Look at the bottom of that. That is just a gorgeous, gorgeous gown.
You're watching the special coverage of the Endymion Parade here on Channel 6. I'm having a devil of a good time. And Janet, you're probably having a Zulu of a good time.
Oh, is that what this
Yeah,
is? I
absolutely.
couldn't quite tell, but they're throwing some great throws.
They
Look
really are.
at these. These are great. Okay, these I got before the parade, so I have to admit.
We got a lot more beats to get, though, so you stay right where you are. We'll be back with more coverage after this commercial break.
And welcome back to our special coverage of Endymion. I'm Janet Witter.
And I'm Norman Robinson.
And right now we're seeing the maid of Endymion representing angels and devils. This is Miss Tina Blanche Roberts. She's the daughter of Arthur and Betty Roberts of River Ridge.
Look at that lovely headdress.
That
Hi.
devil looks like the devil you
Yeah,
have, Norman.
I'm telling you. Hers is much prettier, though.
Oh, okay.
Rolling onto your television screen now is Float J, maid of Endymion. Representing the Lion King is Miss Catherine Marie Krewe, daughter of Ronald and Beverly Krewe of New Orleans. On this maid's collar, we see Mufasa, the aging father Lion King.
It is incredible how much work has to go into those costumes.
A splendid jungle setting.
My first pair of beans. And here's a group that does not need any introduction, but we'll tell you who it is. Casa Samba. Norman, these folks are incredible, aren't they?
Oh, the rhythm's fantastic. Makes you want to move.
Oh, yes.
This is Miss Laura Jane Camber, maid of Endymion, representing vampires.
And you thought the maids had elaborate costumes. Welcome Her Majesty, the Queen of Endymion, Miss Danica Colleen Benbow.
All hail His Majesty Endymion 29 in his regal splendor, Mr. William Robinson. He's a management consultant who lives in Harahan with his wife Paulette. The couple has a 20-year-old son. The 43-year-old Robinson is a native of Cincinnati, Ohio. He moved to New Orleans in 1980 and joined Endymion 7 years ago. Hail His Majesty, Endymion 29.
And he is having a wonderful time up there.
May your reign be wonderful.
And the street is rocking now, Norman. The St. Paul's High School Marching Band, the Marching Wolves from Covington, Louisiana.
They always put on a great show, Janet. Always.
They sure do, and they are really dancing. They were having a great time dancing in the streets here.
The fun really starts now, Janet. We've got float number 1. If you're at home with some chicken wire, you might want to put it out because some of these throws might come through the television screen. This is a perennial favorite, Papa Joe's SS Endymion. It first paraded with Endymion in 1976. They redo this one every year.
This is one where I hope, all right, got some great beats on that. This is the title float, Endymion's Creature Feature. What do we have on there, Norman? You recognize any of these folks?
Well, that's Arthel Neville.
Uh-huh.
New Orleans' very own celebrity, gone big time in Hollywood.
I'm trying to determine, now what are these supposed to be on the float here?
They look like Greek goddesses to me. Goddess and god. A wine.
We are getting bombarded by these beats, Norman. This is the way I like it. Oh!
From New Orleans East, you're listening to the Marion Abramson Senior High School Band and Dance Team, the Commodores. From New Orleans, you're watching special coverage of Endymion on Channel 6. We'll be back with more of our special coverage following this commercial break. We'll let the band take us home.
Welcome back to our special Endymion coverage. And okay, Norman, I recognize float number 3.
I think we all do.
This is the Peanuts float, and you can see Snoopy sitting high up there.
Boy, they are generous with their throws.
Oh, they certainly are.
The crowd loves them.
Too bad more people can't be standing where we are, but I'm glad to be bringing it into their living room.
Ooh, I just got hit in the teeth. This is the Alfred Lawless Senior High School Band, the Pythian, from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, Norman, let's see how dated you are. Do you recognize who this is?
Cowabunga, man.
Cowabunga Dude, isn't it?
Oh, okay. It's Cowabunga Dude.
All right, now name the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I
Can
can't
you
do
that?
it. Michelangelo is one of them.
Very good. Leonardo, Donatelli, and Raphael.
All right. Looking good, guys.
Cowabunga Dude.
You know, Janet, I think this is one of everybody's favorites. Aladdin, one of the most beloved stories from the Arabian Nights, is that of Aladdin and his magic lamp. See the giant genie in the front?
Yeah.
He's smiling. He's having a good time. He's glad to be on the Endymion parade list.
He sure is. We can see Aladdin, and Jasmine's got to be on this float somewhere.
Probably back there in the back, in the rear, holding it down.
Back there in the back. Well, and this is float number 6, the Cat in the Hat. It's Christmas time in Whoville, and the Cat in the Hat sits atop the Grinch who stole Christmas. I don't think this is the right time of year, Norman.
There are 2 Grinches on that one, on either side.
But there are already Grinches out in the crowd. They're actually giving all kinds of
Boy, they're killing us.
Float. Yes, they're not stingy at all.
This is the Andrew Jackson High School Marching Colonels. They're from Chalmette, Louisiana. Let's listen to them as they play.
And Norman, they're going ape on this next float. This is float number 7. I know that was a bad joke, but it's all I could think of.
Oh, it was a nice try, though, Janet.
This is Mighty Joe Young.
Boy, he looks ferocious.
He certainly does.
Oh, Janet, this one's scary. The creature from the Black Lagoon. The murky waters of the Amazon basin come alive in this scene of peril. The creature hides in the dark backwaters. He's been hiding there for centuries. And just for good measure, he grabs the native every now and then.
Ooh, scary. I hope he doesn't do anything to any of the folks that are watching this parade.
Right now, he's mostly grabbing their attention.
And he's doing a good job of it. Let's try to grab their attention and get some beef.
All right.
And this is Archbishop Shaw High School Band and Dance Team, the Eagles from Marrero, Louisiana. Listen to that sound. Norman, this one is certainly a crowd pleaser. Float number 10 is Beauty and the Beast. A majestic beast showers the crowd with kindness from the front of this mega float. And of course, they're showering people with beads, cups, doubloons. This is certainly a parade for the kids.
The Beast would be proud.
He certainly would. Now on this float, you can also see Mrs. Potts, Chip the Teacup, Lumiere, and Gaston, one of the favorite, all-time favorite children's stories.
course, every kid knows who this is. Mario Brothers and Pac-Man. Mario and his brother Luigi are always ready for work, exhaustive work, and the front of this float has our computer creature Mario standing ready at the touch of a button and a joystick.
And, of course, zooming along behind is that always insatiable Pac-Man. And hopefully we can gobble up a few of the beads and doubloons and other things as they pass on by us. And this float is called, appropriately enough, Leprechaun. Top of the day to ye, my lads and lassies. We found a pot of gold. They're throwing a pot of gold into bloom from there, Norman. A colorful rainbow sweeps above the high road in County Kelly, bedecked with lucky shamrock. The luck of the Irish is with these folks today. The sun or the weather has certainly smiled on these folks all day today.
Absolutely. The weather and the beads. You know, Janet, they're cute, but they're dangerous. Gremlins, these fuzzy little creatures from movie fiction are as lovable as a Mardi Gras stuffed animal, but as the man said, don't feed them after midnight.
Oh, Norman, you were talking about gremlins and not yourself? I thought you were talking about you. And Norman, finally, a part to the parade where we're not going to be pelted with beads.
Well, we are going to be pelted with sound.
Yes, and that's kind of refreshing for the time being. The Xavier Prep High School band, the Yellow Jackets from New Orleans, Louisiana. They're playing on Broadway.
From the popular television show Sesame Street, the giant, lovable creature Big Bird happily invites us all to come on down to the Mardi Gras, a fun place for young people to learn numbers, letters about their neighborhoods, and the skills of communicating. Hey, throw me something, mister.
All right. Kermit the Frog, Bert and Ernie, Oscar the Grouch, Grover, and the Cookie Monster. And Norman, if I'm not mistaken, if you look in there, they have a live Cookie Monster, if you can see right up on top of the float. And Norman, who wouldn't recognize this? Can you sing the song for me? Da-da-da-da. That's right. This is float number 15. This is the Addams Family. You can see Morticia at the front. They also have the Hand, Gomez, Lurch, Wednesday, Pugsley, and Uncle Fester, and everyone posing for a very scary family portrait.
This is float 16, the extraterrestrials, an heroic figure of Chewbacca, the co-pilot of Wookiee from Star Wars, leads this mega float of extraterrestrial creatures. Wow, they are impressive.
They certainly are, Norman. You have all kinds of things. Let's see, we see R2-D2, and E.T. the extraterrestrial is also on this float. 17, the Smurfs. Larger-than-life, brainy Smurf stands atop this colorful float depicting Smurfville. He and Papa Smurf are looking from side to side on this float, ever watchful for their nemesis.
These are the high-stepping Lions from Covington High School, the dance team and band from Covington, Louisiana. Let's let them play us out, Janet, to a commercial break.
All right, sounds good, Norman. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Endymion Parade. This is float number 18, Garfield. Only the comic strip character Garfield knows, like us, what Mondays are like. And of course, his canine friend Odie, he's no help, but there they are perched on the front of the float. And there's their hapless Master John. Look at him over there, Norman.
Swimmers beware, this is Jaws, float number 19. The beaches of the summer resort of Amityville are once again threatened by the great white shark, Jaws.
That shark looks scary, Norman, but no one is running in this crowd. They're running towards the float.
I'm telling you.
Look at all of those beasts and his gigantic teeth. Norman, this parade is certainly a creature feature. You can recognize this one, the Terminator.
Absolutely, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. Now, you remember the plot to this one, following a future war fought by robotic creatures. A robotic creature is sent to Earth to kill the mother of a successful young general, John Connor. You remember that movie?
Well, they're not killing anybody tonight, but they certainly are throwing a lot of beads.
They certainly are. They're about to kill us with all of these beads, though, Norman. They're really pelting us.
Leading the way on float number 21, certainly one of the most notable cartoon characters, the whirling dervish Tasmanian Devil. If Elmer Fudd and his ever-present shotgun weren't enough, the Tasmanian Devil blasts his way into Bugs Bunny's life like a tornado. Tonight, he's looking for a rabbit to eat, Janet.
That's right. You see Yosemite Sam right next to him. Oh, look on top, Tweety Bird. Also on this float, Porky Pig, Wile E. Coyote. He's looking for road runners, and I wonder if he'll find one on this float. And let's see, who else do we have? Spike the dog and Sylvester.
It's a good thing the Roadrunner has his back to him. He'd eat them. Oh, the Tasmanian Devil.
Is so appropriately called prehistoric creatures. As a petrosaur hovers above him, a massive mammoth climbs up from the prairie. That's what's depicted on this mega float during North America's ice ages. Sorry.
Try it again.
This float is called prehistoric creatures. As a petrosaur hovers above him, a massive mammoth climbs up from the prairie. That's what's depicted on this mega float during North America's ice age 150,000 years ago.
You know, Janet, we've said all night that Endymion is one of the most spectacular parades of carnival season, and this float certainly proves it. Float 23, a new addition, the longest float in Mardi Gras. Endymion welcomes you to the Mardi Gras. This float is 136 feet long. It costs $120,000, and it can carry 150 riders. Boy, it is awesome. Many of us remember reading about the Hobbit, a smiling Bilbo Baggins, the Hobbit who lives in the middle of the earth, waves his lighted sword named Sting in this scene depicting Arthur J.R.R. Tolkien's adult fairy tale about the forces of good and evil. And certainly, the forces of good have outnumbered the forces of evil tonight.
You can see there's a three-dimensional fire-breathing dragon on this float, Norman. I guess we'll have to look closely for that. Yabba dabba doo. Dino and the pet dinosaur rocks back and forth as the prehistoric community of Bedrock pulls into view. A large figure of Bedrock's most prominent citizen, Fred Flintstone, smiles down at Dino at play.
Rambling their way down the Mardi Gras route tonight, the New Orleans Jazz Ramblers Dixieland Band. Didn't they ramble?
And Norman, coming down the street now, is Paul Bunyan and Babe the Big Blue Eye. So loved and respected was Paul Bunyan by the lumberjacks of Canada in the 1830s that marvelous stories of his strength and bravery filtered below the U.S.-Canadian border. Look at Babe the Big Blue Ox rocking back and forth to the music.
Of course, if you're a Trekkie, you know what this is. The Klingon, the massive Klingon commander from Star Trek, The Next Generation, brings his special brand of bad news to the crew of the Starship Enterprise. The bad news is what? They're out of throws?
Oh, I hope that's not the bad news, Norman. We don't want to stop now.
Absolutely.
On that float is Captain Picard, and somewhere on there is Mr. Spock, lost in space. I hope I didn't offend any Trekkies, but that's what the script says, okay, Norman? Jerusalem Temple Shrine Band of New Orleans. Norman, what is that they're playing?
Down by the riverside.
Down by the riverside.
All right. And the last float tonight's parade, Alice in Wonderland. Is it a dream or is it real? A giant Cheshire cat gives us a toothy smile like a buzzard perched on a limb.
That's
Boy.
right. I'm wondering, is this a dream or is this real with all of these throws being pelted upon us, Norman?
So the bruises on my body says it's very real. Well, Janet, it's been a mega night for a mega parade, and I've had a blast, and I hope you have too.
I have had a wonderful time. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this. Probably hold on to it until Mardi Gras. Use it to barter, I think.
We hope you've enjoyed our special coverage of the Endymion Parade. We do hope you'll be with us tomorrow night when we cover the Bacchus Parade with Margaret Orr and Dan Milham.
And from all of us, we want to make sure that you have a very safe carnival.
Good night.